What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Yeah, I was reading a report on Clips Nation about this, and honestly, I looked at it and I said, well, it's a possibility, but I don't really think it's going to actually work out this way. So the possibility is, on clipsnation.com, they talk about, can Norman Powell for the Clippers make the starting five, going forward into the season and going forward, just in general. And me personally, I don't think that he can, because really, it's going to be tough for him to do that. Even though he can play the shooting guard role, he can play a small forward role. He can play either one of those. That's his specialty, playing either one of those roles. I think that, he can play, coming off the bench for the Clippers. I'm going to say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Ty Lue does put him in the starting lineup, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the starting lineup, because, like I said, really, I think at some point, if they plan on using Reggie Jackson the way they always have, even if John Wall becomes a starting point guard, Reggie Jackson might just slide over to the 2, which is the shooting guard. And that's more so what Norman Powell plays as a shooting guard. He doesn't play too much small forward, because that's Robert Covington. He plays the forward position, small or power forward. And then on top of that, your other forwards on the team is, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So those are really the forwards. And then you can throw in, of course, Marcus Morris too. So there's a lot of forwards there, and then Nicholas Batum is a forward / center. So it's they have a lot of power forwards, and that's the one thing the Clippers have seemed like more than any other team is forwards. So I'm not sure really if Norman Powell fits, anywhere in the starting lineup. Just based upon how much talent this team has and how much superstar or star power they have all the way around the board, just in regards to just every position being filled, and they're just a stack loaded team. I don't know if Norman Powell would make the starting five, not with this team. I think with any other team, he might actually do that, unless they had a big three or something like that, or, a juggernaut team like the Clippers. But, like I said, it's no shame if he doesn't make the starting lineup for this team, because he's still going to get some decent minutes. He's still going to be a very huge factor, and he's still going to be big for them, I think, in the playoffs. He's one of those players, I think, for the Clippers where no matter whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he makes an impact. And he's just one of those guys. He's always been one of those guys ever since I've watched him play. I've watched him play out here in UCLA. I've watched him play at the training camps at UCLA. That's when I saw him play. He's pretty much always, from what when I watched him on TV, he's pretty much always been the same in regards to what to expect from him. And I think he's going to be one of their key weapons that they're going to utilize and have over the season, over time in the season, that, a lot of teams are not going to be prepared for. Specifically, I remember him on Toronto when Kawhi was there. He was huge for Toronto. He came off the bench along with Van Vliet, and they really ran the show in regards to, points wise, bringing production off the bench, and they were pretty consistent at it as well. So, that's my thing. This team right here is not only stacked in every area, but they also have experience in almost every area. And that's the thing, experience overrides a lot. And the fact that they have experience in almost every area on the floor, position wise, that makes them a dangerous team. Everybody in every position in their starting lineup, and most, in their starting lineup is a veteran in this league. They've been in the league a while. They understand how to play basketball. They're professionals, and on top of that, they've been playing their position a long time. They've been in situational basketball moments. The Clippers players, the way all these guys are put together is really good. It is fun for the league to be able to watch a team like this going forward. But like I said, the experience of all these players, being in the league several years, this is not a team full of talent like a Memphis Grizzlies team or something like that, with no experience of really, being in big moments in the playoffs and all that type stuff. Because you got a lot of good young teams, but the problem is the experience of of, being a champion or going far in the playoffs and, just being in real playoff moments year after year after year after year. You know what I'm saying? These guys have been through it, you know what I'm saying? So, and some of them on the Clippers have won championships, of course. So, I mean, it's a difference, with a team with experience and the talent rather than a team with talent without that much experience. As I just gave you an example of the Memphis Grizzlies or a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, like maybe even, the Timberwolves, somebody like that. But this is my point, even though you look at you look at this team and you say that Norman Powell, getting back to the topic, even if he doesn't crack the starting five, he's still going to be a factor for the Clippers either way. He's still going to be, one of their staples either way. He's still going to be one of those guys they rely on for offense and a spark off the bench that most teams don't have. And besides, you take him off the bench with Robert Covington coming off the bench. I mean, that's a recipe for a lot of scoring to happen, because Norman Powell can put up the points and Robert Covington can knock down threes. And on top of that, Robert Covington is really, really tough on defense. And on top of that, Norman Powell's pretty decent on defense. So, and then you got Brandon Boston coming off the bench. Amir Coffey is probably going to get a little bit of time himself because he's proved himself last year. They were, and then, Luke and Terrence coming off the bench also. So I mean, it's like, man, like their bench could be a starting lineup for a team in the NBA. Like a team like the Orlando Magic or something like that. The Clippers bench could be a starting team. The Clippers bench could start for a team like the Orlando Magic because I think the Clippers bench is just that deep. You know what I'm saying? So this is my point. Like when you look at this team, Norman Powell, regardless of what role he plays, whether it's in the starting lineup or out of the starting lineup, off the bench, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be a factor either way. I personally don't think he's going to crack the top five because I think eventually the top five for the Clippers will be, John Wall at the 1, Reggie Jackson at the 2, which he's comfortable, which that's his natural position. Then you got Paul George at the 3, Kawhi at the 4, and then you'll have Zubac at the 5. I think that's what the starting lineup is going to be eventually. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen or if it's, going to happen anytime soon, but I just think eventually that's where Ty Lue is going to, invest his time in with this team because that's where a lot of their talent is. That's where all their talent is right there. And if you got a starting five like that with players like Norman Powell and Covington and Marcus Morris and, whoever else coming off the bench that, Ty Lue decides to utilize. I mean, it's just going to be tough for teams because the Clippers have so much balance scoring. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard to really, keep up with them in that way. So, I mean, either way, it's going to be a great season for the Clippers if they stay healthy. So let's just see what it pans out and let's see what Ty Lue does with his starting lineups because over time, we know he's going to make some adjustments. He's going to experiment some, but he's going to find a starting lineup that he feels very comfortable with before the playoffs start. And that's really all that matters. As long as you got that before the playoffs start and everybody knows their role and they play at a high level, that's all you can ask for. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.